Boom! Salutations. Wanted to talk about crop circles and do some consolidations on them, and just kind of some things that we know that we can pull together that have been recorded about them, and try to stick to somewhat the scientific things that are known. Done 2 other videos on crop circles. Please go back on the channel and look at those because they're all interconnected. All right. Something that we do know is that they're created. The crop circles are created legitimately, that has been recorded by plasma vortexes, little plasma spherical balls that are moving counterclockwise. They've been seen making these crop circles, and I'll put in the comment section or one of the sections underneath here, descriptions, actually the video in England that was recorded of those 2 plasma balls that are making one of the crop circles. Actually, I think it's about 3 of them, and then they actually go back up and go into the sky after they're done. I think that's very interesting. I think that's very valid, and tying that into some of the other things that was presented by somebody I talked about before, Patty Greer, in her crop circle movie, Crop Circle Diaries. She went over some of Peggy Baker, I think, and Dr. Levingood's, Lefty as they called him, some of the work he did on crop circles. And from what I've seen, I haven't seen anyone that's done as many scientific experiments on the crop circles as that gentleman did. And some of the stuff he yielded in experiments, I think, is quite interesting. Starting with some of these things are like, one is they can detect these fake crop circles from the real ones. That is much easily done than I think is worth from that Doug and Dave discrediting deal. I mean, they've got things from the man-made circles are exhibiting something a lot of times called the heavy construction method, or these other ways they can tell by the way the nodes are bent that it's fake. As where you have real crop circles, you've got these nodes that are bent and have been exposed to microwave heat, and also suffering from something called electron avalanches, which is something that the seeds that have been exposed to these crop circles later on, when the seeds go through this microwave that kind of cooks them, when they start regenerating, they produce, I think it's recorded as 30% to 400% more biofuel and 75% more nutrition per plant, due to this high energy, this high plasma energy they've been exposed to, the stalks and the seeds themselves within crop circles. So that's saying a lot about food shortage on this planet. All right, and something that could be one of the possible solutions to that that's being revealed by these circles. Something else is that the circles themselves have been reported as several different things. Like, I found something very interesting. The gentleman on another video on here that I did when I was at the SETI Ranch with Peter Maxwell Slattery and the remote viewer John Vavinko. And John had some interesting things to say about not just the singularity and the Mount Adams at SETI where we're at, but also about crop circles. And something he had said, that the crop circles in that area of Wiltshire I think would probably be more micro wormholes opening up, wormholes, and when you have one of these singularities that opens up, on the other side you have literally like thousands of entities trying to squeeze through all at once. And what happens, so many of them trying to squeeze through, that's like me trying to put my head through a mayonnaise jar with 3 other people. Slim chance at best. But when you get the ones that actually do, however many of them are able to force their way through the singularity at one time, they emerge in this dimension in a collective state, which is a type of plasma ball, apparently, high energy plasma ball. So that's existing on the collective conscious level, and what they're doing is interacting with not just humanity but the earth itself, which I think says something about in this movie when she wants to call the crop circles earth chakras. I think that would say something along that line, kinda, although I believe they're connected from the space also and coming down as well. But that's saying a whole lot about the entities that are coming through the singularity and how they're choosing to communicate with humanity and with Earth. Because sometimes some of these crop circles have been found to be free energy device blueprints. That's something that's been seen on some of them. I personally believe some of them are a type of a self-activating software similar to something like a Globeke Tempe or somewhere like that, that is to be activated from orbit, overhead. Something orbiting overhead to activate these, that is more of a hardware to activate a software system. That's what I think we're seeing, and that's some type of terraforming that's been going on this planet for, millions of years. And when dealing with things like the Chad Dragonfly drone and some of those other drones that have been seen exposed, and they think that maybe Palo Alto and Silicon Valley and the military has been back engineering some of these drones that have been seen and exposed through certain frequencies that have been always around, hovering around, and they're trying to back engineer that. So I think maybe that goes somewhere into that type of a system also that needs to be looked at when dealing with crop circles, because a lot of those drones are said to be self-activating software as well, self-activating machines. So I think when dealing with the possible terraforming that's been going here a long time, if you're a Star Trek fan, Project Genesis type of action, I think maybe look at maybe the system, what we're talking about right now with these crop circles and with some of the ancient sites like Göbekli Tepe, Stonehenge, and other things that can be activated from overhead. That's a big deal. So something else I want to throw out about that. We spoke about the electron avalanches. Something else to find is that after exposure, a lot of the plants contain anthocyanin. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but that's a very powerful oxidant. I'll put some stuff about that up there. So you've got not just a powerful oxidant on there, antioxidant, you've also got electron avalanches, you've got microwaves. All these are being presented scientifically inside these crop circles, and the way the nodes are bent is very unique, and how they're able, the damage that's actually done to the crops themselves. I think you're dealing with a lot of things, so I think we've got to answer for food shortages, free energy. I just did a video just a little bit ago over actually space-time motive force and free energy production and time reactors. That ties into this also. They're not the separate things that maybe we want them to be, so it's another video maybe go back and check out. If you're on Patreon, you'll see it early. So two other things. One other thing I've heard too, and this is something that was supposedly military connected, I think maybe Earth Files was talking about it, is that these crop circles are also markers for time travelers. And that these time travelers are using these as marking ways to gauge their entry and exiting points and also their progress. Now, if that is the case, we could take these plasma balls in as the time travelers themselves, which will probably be some type of humanity thousands of years in the future when we evolve beyond this container. What will be the next container for humanity? And if you have time travelers from that era coming back from even 1 million years in the future, who knows, several million, when something goes wrong with genetics and we no longer have bodies and we come back as time travelers, do they come back as plasma balls? High energy, high density energy plasma balls. It's just another one of these things that could be a possibility, so kind of just factor it in. I certainly don't know it all, but I think no one's really experts on this, but we can try to put together some of the different information that's been presented and recorded by some concerning these crop circles. So anyway, thank you very much for viewing the videos. I'm getting a lot of positive comments, so I'm continuing to making videos because of that, and especially the people on Patreon that are supporting. So please like and share and subscribe the video. I've been shadow banned, so I'm still trying to beat that, meaning that my videos don't come up in search engines anymore. And also, unless you hit the bell again, you won't even get notified when I put out a new video. So please help me beat the shadow ban and share, subscribe, and like. Peace.